Welcome to more Gran Turismo Sports Specialtatin. This time around, we're featuring the Daily Race C involving shifter carts at Brands Hatch Indy. And I know I've done a whole heck of a heap of kart related stuff on the channel recently, but because honestly, that's about as good of racing as I can get with the penalty system the way it is now. All other races are either chaotic or runaways or just Karts is the best we can do for now because karts are small enough where even though they still get a whole heck of penalties, by default they're the least amount of penalties because they're the smallest vehicles, and can be maneuvered in a way that can avoid penalties the best. In theory, shouldn't have to worry about that too much this race because if I remember correctly, at this point I was qualified 4th in the Americas region. The driver who's on pole was qualified in 1st in the Americas region, so let's make for some pretty clean racing, given that really us two and honestly a whole heck of more people seem to know what they're doing with these, or at least for one single lap. Karts, while being able to avoid penalties better by default because they're smaller, are also really inconsistent, as shown many a time on the channel. I'll try my best over summer vacation to get stuff that ain't karts, but honestly this is about the bulk of the time I've had to do racing. It's easier for me to just do stuff that I'm better at because I can get a good lap in quickly and get some races in quickly while I'm busier with like exams and stuff like that. But that will be over soon, and for now, this is this and this is going now, and it ain't going too bad. That was a minor bump there that honestly no one knows how each other's going to race yet, but the penalty system doesn't care. This is just my opinion, but maybe, just maybe, there should be a sectioned off penalty system mode. First X amount of the race, it should be less severe than later in the race, because first bit of the race you have time to recover, and you don't really have time to learn each other's racing habits yet, because you haven't raced with them all that much. That's just my opinion, and I guarantee it's not going to be used, but yeah, that could make it better, couldn't it? But anyway, I'm in the lead. Probably everyone has a penalty already, so whatever, I ain't got the worst right now. Could be a lot worse, couldn't? Well, at least I don't have a penalty now. I really and truly don't know what that was about. I've taken that turn faster many a time before, and it's been fine. The only thing I can think of is that in some cases there are races in which grip is different in a race, and there's some cases in which they ain't. I don't know, this race really has been kind of weird from the start. It was a standing start, which I think is actually accurate for karts, because I don't think kart races in real life are rolling starts, but nonetheless in the game everything else is a rolling start, so that in general was kind of weird, and then it seems like the grip levels are also kind of weird. I'll go ahead and say this now, it seems like from what I can remember, the best I was able to run in a race when I did these races was literally like a 47.5 or something, with draft and all of the fixins as well. The best I did in qualifying was a .3 with no draft. I'm just going to leave it there and continue on. And continue on by saying at least there's no tire wear and fuel consumption, so I ain't going to get any worse grip-wise. I don't really know what that means. I mean, I guess everyone in theory is on the same playing field with grip, but in theory that same playing field should be pretty equally described and stay the same throughout the whole time. And I'm going forward and back a whole heck of a heap because that's what I was doing in the race, and I figured I may as well use direct race footage for this because, well, there's already been a whole heck of a heap of penalties and a whole heck of a heap of chaos, so in a way it's kind of better to show what's going on currently with me for this one, because I'll say this right now too, I know it's looking a bit ahead, but this stays a race where I'm around karts the whole time. I ain't really gonna say yet if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a truism, right, Honor? That's now something like a bad thing, because once again, I don't really know what I did wrong there, but then yet, I still now have a 3-second penalty. Not sure about that one, folks. Not sure about that one. Pretty early in the race still, but also pretty far down the pack. And again, I wasn't even on pole for this one. I mean, that doesn't mean too much again with draft and weird grip levels and all that, but I'm statistically not the fastest driver in the race, and the fastest driver in the race, after all the chaos to begin with, is already back in 5th. Ah, well, we're all struggling, I guess. I mean, there's 6th right there, and then there's the other driver right there. Well, okay, I guess at least the faster drivers struggled as much as everyone else, so no one got a crazy lead for now. Unless they do. Eh. 5 seconds is that's kind of a lead, but it's still early in the race, so maybe it's still, I don't know. Hard to say this early, but it could be a lot better for me, but it could be a lot better for quite a few drivers, so I don't know, folks, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? I know in general, too, it seems like I've been more negative in the Specialtatins, but that's because, as I said, I might do some in ways where there's a positive review and a negative review, but I'll see in the future how that ends up going, because I think the game's going to be changing some in the future. You know, there's an update on the horizon pretty caught picking soon. I do not know when I'm actually going to upload this, so I ain't going to say an exact time, but on the horizon pretty caught picking soon. I think it will be accurate whenever this goes up, and that could lead to a lot of things. It could lead to nothing, but I'll just keep that at bay now of how I'm going to do video sequences completely in the future yet, because I have an idea, but I'm not going to say quite yet. So anyway, back to this. Even though this being Daily Race C, which is nearly about as long as the Nations and Manufacturers Cup, carts in general are just shorter. I guess the way they do algorithms in this game is by horsepower, I guess. And these carts have very few horsepower, so they consider them as slower than they really are. It's obvious they're not really slower than they really are. They're the point of they're about the hardest thing to drive in the game. As y'all saw there. Do you have any crickets? I mean, again, y'all can make your own opinions on it, but do I still deserve 4 seconds of penalties right now? Seriously? I'm driving my absolute best to try to pass people, and I mean, they're not being downright dirty, but I also don't want to get that close to them to risk anything. So then I'm having to pretty much almost wreck myself to have a chance of going by, and then that just gives more penalties. It's penalty roulette. I have to decide on the fly what's going to be less of a penalty. The chance of hitting another driver or the chance of spinning off track. I attempt to go into play for the other driver as well when that type of stuff, because I ain't inherently dirty unless the other driver is. So I usually will go for I might end up wrecking myself than wrecking the other driver. And then yet sometimes it seems like it ends up being the wrong decision because I end up getting the bigger penalty. I don't know. I really don't know how I'm supposed to go at that. I really don't. I mean, nonetheless, I'm already pretty much in 4th at this point. I might even be able to get out on this turn. No? Do you have any cricket that actually braked well battling with each other? That's kind of a rarity, honestly. I ain't complaining. That's a good thing. They stayed stable with, like, good lines and stuff, racing each other side by side. That's really rare. Yay. I don't really mind if I stay here as long as everyone's fast. That usually isn't really what happens. I mean, it may not be the driver's fault, it may be the penalty system's fault, but whatever. I mean, it's not really hurting me right now. Everybody's kind of in a draft and in a way going faster, kinda. And I can delete the penalty too because I'm in the middle of the draft line. This ain't too bad, but the lead is getting worse and worse. 11 seconds. That's not good. I mean, again, if we stay in a draft line, maybe we can cut that down a bit. Statistically, I can't, but again, as I said later on, I actually ended up running a faster lap time than the leader for one singular lap. And it was by a whopping 300ths of a second, I think, ish. Yeah, 300ths of a second. That compared to 11 seconds is nothing, really. So I might actually kind of want to stay in the draft line. But the longer I'm in the draft line means the longer I'm around cars in general, which means the more chance of a penalty. Decisions. As of now, I'm going to decide to pretty much stay where I am, though, because I have enough room to race my own lines and be in a draft line. So that means I don't have to worry about penalties yet, and I can still be fast. Literally, though, in about 5 seconds, I might have to start worrying about what in the blue blazes are you doing. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. Okay then, that went alright. No, it didn't. Really? You have to run me off track? Seriously? I'm gonna go if they give you like a 10-second penalty, because something that's not even intentional is like a 3-second penalty, so... Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't have to race all that hard, because... I mean, I guess that might have been that driver giving the position back. For Jiminy Cricket's sake, that whole event shouldn't have happened in the first place. Whatever, that's its own driver's fault there, because I think that perfect was like a 10-second penalty. Another thing with the penalty system, too, is maybe, just maybe, if it's something involving two vehicles, and it involves one vehicle passes another, and it's the one that gets a penalty, if it gives the position back, maybe that should give some of the penalty back as well, once the position is given back. That's just my opinion, but that's kind of how racing works, generally. Especially in, like, racing series and video games, even if it's intentional or not, if you pass someone quote-unquote dirty, if you give the position back, generally it's not necessarily good, but it's not bad. I mean, it's better than the penalties give right for, or whatever. But anyway, whatever, I'm in 4th, so kind of still in the draft line, and this driver seems to be more apt to race with than the other driver, it seems like. I'm trying my best not to, like, downgrade anything, because honestly, some of that is due to the penalty system, but it's kind of a truism. Anyway, I'm already past that driver, so I'd like to be able to run my own lines. Okay. Yeah, it's getting a little bit too intense, honestly, for being cards. You'd think for cards you can give each other a bit of room, especially with this stupid penalty system making it to where you pretty much have to. But whatever. I guess it still worked out for everyone, so I can't really blame anybody on that. To be honest, that might have actually made us both go slightly faster, just it was a lot more riskier. Risk versus reward wasn't exactly there, but whatever, now it's up to me to catch first at this point. And delete the penalty. Okay, penalty deleted. Now just go and catch first. Give space. That's a good thing to do. Just give space. I got around you once. It's obvious that no, you dumped me instead. I'm gonna have to go back for that one. I said I wasn't gonna criticize people because some of it's the penalty system, but I mean, for Jiminy Cricket's sakes, that's a bump. There's no denying that. That's a bump. And that ruins my race. I mean, again, that probably wasn't intentional, but for Jiminy Cricket's sakes, if you learn anything from watching the kart videos, granted, I know these drivers haven't watched my own videos, but just doing kart races in general, watching kart videos in general, it's karts don't do good around others, just because they're really light, and then the penalty system makes it that much worse. I guarantee now that third place driver is pretty much disqualified at this point. They probably have like a 20-second penalty, I assume, because again, unintentional stuff that didn't really even hurt anybody is 3 to 5 seconds. I mean, that was probably also unintentional, but it was also kind of hard racing and it was continuous, as I mentioned before. Maybe give it a little bit more room there, so yeah. That literally hurt everyone involved and completely ruins my chances of getting first. I mean, maybe I could have initially deleted that penalty in like 2 laps or something, but I really didn't want to risk it either because the penalty system is so inconsistent. I just kind of wanted to get it all over with and start with a clean slate. That didn't work. If I would have tried to delete the penalty in 2 laps, I ain't necessarily even saying that would have been a better strategy, because that would have had its own parameters of chaos, but now I'm here. I am kind of in a draft line, but too little too late. It doesn't even matter at this point. I'm just going to be fighting the best I can for second. Granted, I qualified in second, but still. Third place at this point is pretty much disqualified, I assume, so I may not have to worry about it there. So pretty much that means I'm probably in third, but still, I'd like second. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I don't really think I've done all that much wrong this entire race. I mean, granted, there may have been some stuff I didn't necessarily do right, but that's kind of to be expected with karts. I tried my best to give people room in situations where I could, and then in situations where everyone was in a pack, I tried to just kind of stay still. Like, just keep my own line and stuff, but then, no. And again, if you're watching this and you think I'm, like, being negative person, I still think this is overall playing the penalty system for the bulk of this. I don't think this is anyone being intentionally dirty. Sorry if it comes across that way, but I feel like the racing would just be overall better if the penalties were different. I didn't even say completely more lenient, just different and lenient in some ways and then not in others. But anyway, I guess I'm pretty much back to where I was, kind of, maybe. I don't even know what the penalty system anymore. Again, I'm only assuming that other driver got a penalty as well, because it doesn't actually show me. And then that's the end of the race. I was right about that one driver getting a penalty. But guess what? That was the wrong driver I was battling with. I kind of figured there was penalties all around, but no. So I'm in third. I got wrecked like 3 times that race. And the leader even got a penalty from that, who was in the lead for like half the race. I get wrecked. I get a penalty and have to go to pretty much the very end to delete it, and then when I do delete it, get wrecked again. The leader who was in the lead for half the race ends the race even still with a penalty. And this was with probably 5 out of the top 20 drivers in America region in the same race. There's a slight problem with the penalty system. If you can't get it right with karts, which are the smallest vehicles in the game, maybe I could use a bit of fixing. I know in a whole heck of a heap of Specialtatins I've done rants about penalty systems, and I've done videos involving karts, but hopefully that will change, whether it's the game changing or the format changing or whatever. Just hopefully it becomes more of a positive later on. I'll just say that for now, and maybe later will be perfect. Yeah, we've said that before too. My kart is painted in Mopar colors. Yeehaw. Yeah, that's really about the best I can get out of this situation.